case study. So it's like a story. So let us read through this, and then there are a few questions which you all can, it's like a pre-negotiation. So basically this is a scenario, and the questions that we will discuss would be like a pre-negotiation kind of strategy that we will go ahead and develop. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Peter Reed is a computer software specialist who had developed a good reputation as a programmer in the US. Okay, so Peter Reed is a computer software specialist who had developed a good reputation as a programmer in the US. So seeking new challenges, he accepted an appointment as a software specialist in his company's branch office in Tokyo. So he wanted to take on new challenges, of course, to go ahead and for growth and to, yeah, so basically to take on new challenges in his career. He accepted an appointment as a software specialist in his company's branch office. This is in Tokyo. So this Peter Reed, this US guy, is now going to Tokyo. In his own country, Peter had a reputation as a very creative programmer. So in his own country, in the sense in the US, okay, so Peter had a reputation as a very creative programmer, and part of his preferred work style involved working on a number of different projects simultaneously. So basically, he was really good with regards to multitasking and stuff. If one project Okay, if one project had a stumbling block, Peter often found he could clear his mind by working one on or even two other projects. So his mind refreshed, he then could return to the original project with a fresh outlook and a range of potential solutions to problems. So basically this guy, Peter, what you understand from him, he's really good in his work, and he is really good with multitasking, and he can work on 2 to 3 different projects simultaneously. That's his USP basically. Okay. Yeah. So managers in the US branch encouraged this work style because they saw that Peter was very productive when allowed to work in his preferred manner. So what is his preferred manner basically?
To work on a few assignments, like few projects simultaneously.
Simultaneously, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were also up for it, his managers in the US, because they found that he was really productive when he was allowed to go ahead and work in his own style. So the managers were also tolerant when Peter and other productive workers deviated from the written policy with such activities and lateness to work, lunch hours that extended beyond 60 minutes, number of work breaks during the day, and so forth. So basically, didn't really stick to all the norms that were on the paper. And the managers also didn't mind, because yes, that was his just style of working, and basically there was nothing to point out with regards to his work, so everything was all leveraged. So as long as the employees were productive, rules were loosely enforced. So Peter arrived in Tokyo and met his immediate supervisor. So his supervisor was Watanabe, okay, Hirumi Watanabe. The relationship between the two started out well because Watanabe recognized Peter's abilities and the quality of his work. So initially everything was like really nice and everything was really comfortable, and there was no tiffs between the two. After about 3 months, however, tensions began to rise. Now, 3 months down the line, Peter and his supervisor have started to have few tensions. Peter enjoyed going off by himself when faced with a difficult problem, sometimes sequestering himself in the company library and forgoing lunch with his co-workers. When he did have lunch with co-workers, he was surprised that men usually ate with men and women ate with women. Accustomed to more integration of men and women in his own country, Peter sometimes would ask women to join his lunch group, but his invitations were received with obvious discomfort. When Peter was late coming back from lunch or late coming back to work, Watanabe reacted negatively. At first, the negative reactions consisted of frowns. Finally, Watanabe had to ask Peter to be more careful about observing company policy. Watanabe also was frustrated at Peter's habit of working on different projects simultaneously and not giving enough attention to one. Watanabe considered the most important. Peter's supervisor did not seem to appreciate Peter's preferred style of working on a second and third project to eventually resolve difficulties he encountered in the first and highest priority project. It was clear to everyone who knew of Peter's work that he was one of the company's most productive workers. He was clearly not abrasive nor unpleasant, and he obviously enjoyed interacting with his Japanese co-workers. Yet he was unhappy in his assignment, and Watanabe was not pleased with Peter's contribution. Peter recognized that he was unhappy and that he was not getting along very well with Watanabe, but he was unable to put his finger on the reasons for the difficulties. Okay, the reasons for his difficulties. Eventually, Peter was forced to consider changing companies. What are the reasons? Okay. So, firstly, what do you understand? What are these main reasons for them having a tiff, and what really went wrong? Yes?
Probably that Peter wasn't getting as much freedom as he used to get in his previous job.
Okay, and all of this for what? The main thing, if you have to look into it, where do you think is the main tension? From where is it arising?
I
From
guess
his working style.
Okay, all of this becomes secondary. Okay, the first 4 lines, I'll give you a clue. The first 4 lines. The first 4 lines. Maybe we can just read and see. Any idea? No? Okay, the main thing is cultural differences. What do you all think? Yes? Hello?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so the main problem is because of this major cultural differences. Peter, being from the US, he's now going to Tokyo. Obviously, US is very different. Working style and everything is a little more, a little more comfortable over there with regards to the productivity and with regards to taking breaks and all of that. But Japan, you see, everything is really very systematic, very organized and stuff. So the main tension is because of the cultural differences. Yes or no? What do you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So understanding that, yes, the main thing is a cultural difference. Okay, so now let us look into some questions. So what research will you need to go ahead with the preparation for this negotiation? And what do you think would be the best outcome? So firstly, what research is required to go ahead with Peter negotiating with Watanabe? Because now obviously now this is more of a negotiation. It's like a conflict management, correct? If you remember, we also discussed conflict management as a part of negotiating. Yes, do you all remember? Janice, Ankita? Okay, I don't think you all were there present for that session. But yeah, okay. So now here there is a conflict, and the conflict is between Peter and Watanabe, correct? Now they have to resolve the conflict, correct? Because the conflict is because of X, Y, Z factors. Now, what is the research that Peter will have to get down to? And what is the research that Watanabe also has to get down to before sitting down to negotiate and resolve the conflicts?
Peter could try to learn more about Japanese culture and try to assimilate there.
Okay, perfect. Very, very good point. Now, the understanding that yes, the main problem is because of the cultural differences, correct? So now when you are sitting down to resolve conflicts and you know that the main problem is with regards to cultural differences, bang on, Ankita, you said that they have to go ahead and do a little bit of research with regards to each other's culture. Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. So Watanabe has to do a little bit of research with regards to the American work culture and with regards to the American culture. And Peter has to Peter at the same time has to go ahead and do a little bit of research with regards to the Japanese culture, the work culture, and everything with regards to that. Okay. Then what else? Okay, so now the culture is done. Once you have done the research with regards to culture, most of the problems are already listed that yes, we know that he's reacting in a certain manner because this is all new for him. This is not his culture. Okay, so what could be the possible outcome? How is this research important to the outcome? Or basically, how is this research really important in solving these conflicts? Or what could be the best solution that they could come down to, Peter and Watanabe, with regards to burying the hatchet and with regards to resolving the conflicts and the tensions that are there between each other? Okay, so Janice, probably you are Peter, and Ankita, maybe you could be Watanabe. It's just the two of you. So what agreement would you all have gone ahead and done a research on each other's cultures and all of that, right? So now what do you think would be the best solution for both of you all to go ahead and bury the hatchet? What could be the possible outcome?
Probably Peter could, like, since working on multiple projects simultaneously is his working style, he could like tell Watanabe that he can continue with his working style because that's how he's the most productive. But at the same time, he will compromise a little and follow the company rules.
Okay, so how are you going to look into this case study is first, you need to go ahead and list all the major problems that are there. Now, what are the reasons for the tension? Correct. So you said that yes, because he's working on multiple projects at the same time, that is kind of a little annoying. It's coming across really annoying to what's his name? Watanabe. So problem number one. Second problem, he is not used to this culture difference wherein women are sitting with women, men are sitting with men, and he tries to go ahead and be a little social, and he comes across really wrong. And what are the other problems? Coming late to lunch, after lunch, and all that. Okay, so first list down all these major problems and see what would be the negotiables and non-negotiables under each certain criteria. What is the major outcome? What is the major goal? And then go ahead and discuss it. Yeah, so can we do that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So, Peter, Janice, you are Peter, and Ankita, you are Vatanbe. Is that cool?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So now, yeah. So, Janice, what is your proposal to Vatanbe? He's having certain issues with you coming late, and he has certain issues with you working on projects simultaneously and stuff, right? So how are you going to convince him, or how are you going to go ahead and resolve these conflicts? You'll need to come to an understanding wherein there is no frowning anymore and your whole workplace is not unpleasant. You need to be happy at work in order for you to go ahead and be productive.
So I speak as Peter. Okay.
Or maybe anything. You can just speak as Janice, giving Peter's point of view.
Okay. So, like it is mentioned that Peter finds that he is the most productive when he works on multiple assignments at the same time. So, like if he gets stuck at one, then working on another 2 or 3 projects helps him come up with solutions for the first. So if we tell him to compromise on that, if we tell him to focus on only one project at a time, then his level of productivity might come down. So instead of asking him to so what he could do is that, as I said earlier, he could stick to his working style, but at the same time, compromise and try to understand the Japanese culture, and also I just forgot what I was about to say. Yeah, and he could follow the company rules, like follow the lunch timings and don't come in late. And there was also a mention of the number of breaks he takes, so then follow the company rules related to that.
Okay, so then all these what you're giving is just Peter is compromising completely. See, Peter has to forgo his working style, that he has to be adaptable, you said.
He'll be keeping his working style. He will be sticking to it.
Or he'll be sticking to his
He will
working
stick
style.
to his working style, but but he will be compromising on the he's never followed the office rules now, but he will follow that from now. But he will stick to his working style because that makes him more productive.
Okay, fine. So you are putting the proposal saying that yes, I will abide to the company's rules, which is taking fewer breaks and not extending beyond 60 minutes for lunch break. These two I would compromise on, but I cannot really compromise on my working style, is what you are saying.
Yes,
okay, so Ankita, what do you think? You also need to keep in mind that you are extremely unhappy with this because it does not work that way. You cannot let him just use the other projects like a breaker, like a, what do you say, like a refresher, and come back, because that's not how you prioritize projects. So what do you have to say, Ankita?
Yeah, but Anbe might feel that since every other employee in the office is sticking to routine and doing projects one by one and in a proper routine manner, it would be unfair even for Vatanbe to give Peter some leeway just like that. It would be unfair for other employees. So yeah, that is also there.
So yes, Janice, it obviously would come across being biased and unfair because like Ankita exactly explained, just giving you leverage doesn't really make sense because the other employees are going by the same structure, sticking to one project at a time. Now, what do you have to say, Janice?
Ma'am, but it was mentioned in the case study that everyone knows that Peter is the most productive person in the company. So, given that he is the most productive, can't he have like this little benefit?
Okay, so what
because in exchange they will be getting like
so then you need to convince Vatanbe. So how are you going to, what are you going to tell? And let's see if that is strong enough to convince Vatanbe. Okay, so Ankita, Janice says that, what's his name? Peter. Peter is the most productive, sticking to his work style, and he cannot compromise because that will affect his way of working and his productivity.
Yeah, even though Vatande really wants to hold up his regard for discipline and routine, but it depends if he really thinks if Peter is a really valuable asset to the company, he might agree to compromise, or he might say that I mean, this is one person from a different country who has come here, and instead of the whole office changing according to him, according to Peter, it would seem more logical for Peter to change for the company. And if Peter is not willing to do that, he might, I don't know, if he doesn't feel like he can, Vatanbe can compromise on his regard for discipline and values, he might probably, I don't know, let him go.
let go of Peter.
It depends if he values his productivity more, or his own Japanese culture and values.
No, letting go would not be an option. Okay, because so you all need to come to a common ground. Okay, 2 more minutes, maybe you all can just think. After that, I will come in to the picture. Okay, so Janice, she says that you will have to, adapt yourself because you are a new person coming in from a different culture, and it would be very difficult for, the whole organization or the whole team to kind of give only you leverage, understanding that yes, you've come from a different country with different cultural aspects. You also need to know that you have come to a new country with different cultural aspects and with different cultural differences and ethics and whatever. So you will have to tame yourself a little bit. Now, what do you think, Janice?
Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah, sure. Have you been able to come up with something?
Ma'am, if so, instead of working on multiple projects at the same time, Peter could just like focus on 2. Means like just take up 2. I mean, like that would also be. That would,
okay, so instead of working on 3 to 4 projects at a time, Peter says that, okay, give me a leverage to work at 2 projects at a time. What do you say, Vatanbe?
Okay, I guess I understand you have your own habit. You are habitual to a certain way of working, and I understand the cultural differences. So maybe you can reduce the number of projects you're working on for now, and then gradually uh, get back to, not get back to, try to work on just one at a time, as everyone else does in this organization.
Wow, I really like the way you two are going. You all are sticking to your main objective, and that's really nice because earlier, whatever negotiations that we've had in class, when you all are going strong, I mean, the other one will say, "Ha, okay," and you'll just compromise. But both of you are really trying to, come up with great solutions and still sticking to your objectives, which is becoming really interesting, and I like the way it's going. So what do you say? Peter Watanbe says that, okay, at the moment you can take on two projects simultaneously. And what do you say, Watanbe? Two projects for now, and then?
And then gradually he can try to get work on one project at a time, like everyone else in this organization does. Try to just
Focus on
just
one.
to tame him in a way, gradually go on reducing the number of extra projects he does at a time. And
What
then
say,
later
Peter?
on, go on to focus on only one at a time later.
What say, Peter? What do you say, Peter?
Put me in a tight spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of habit, right? Once you try to reduce doing too many projects, eventually Peter might get used to working on just one at a time, I guess. I might not say this to him, to Peter, right away. I might just agree to him at the moment.
No. That is not being ethical. Whatever it is, it has to be clearly put down on, because because later on you can't call Peter and say, that yes, I want you to reduce. Whatever is agreed upon, it should be clear and transparent here, so that this kind of conflicts don't arise again.
Yes. Okay.
Correct. Otherwise, the conflicts may keep arising. Now, here, this negotiation is happening, or you can say the conflict management, so that everyone is really comfortable. Everyone feels like, yes, it's a good environment to work in. It's not like, an unpleasant atmosphere wherein people will not like to work in an unpleasant atmosphere, right? So whatever is agreed upon, and yes, here, done and dusted, buried the hatchet, and now whatever you all have agreed upon and sticking to the same outcome would be the best way. Okay, so here, okay, so Peter, you have anything to say?
It's not about habit, it's about my working style. So I have, over the years, I have noticed that I am more productive when I work on multiple projects. So that's not just going to go away as I work on, if you keep reducing the amount of projects. It's not about habit. It's just that when I get stuck on something, working on another project or another 2 or 3 projects helps me, think more or think better, and helps you to come with better solutions for the first one. And when this happens, it benefits the company as a whole. So reducing the amount of projects, as I said earlier, I can reduce the amount to 2 projects at a time, but then sticking to only one project, that would drop my productivity by a lot, which would then again not be good for the company. So.
Okay. Now, Ankita, were you there when we discussed about buying chips and bargaining chips and stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Bargaining chips. Okay, Janice, you're aware of bargaining chips, right? Bargaining
Yes,
chips.
ma'am.
Okay, you're aware. Okay. Now, bargaining chips in the sense, Ankita, you need to focus on why is she saying so? Why isn't she agreeing to go ahead and just close the deal and finish it and done and dusted kind of a thing, right? So why? What are the whys and what alternatives could you give her in order to, for everyone to basically come at peace and everyone to basically agree with the solutions that you're giving up. So what are your bargaining chips? Bargaining chips means she already listed saying why she cannot go ahead and compromise on. So what would be the solutions that you would give her with regards to solving her problem, and then you'll agree on a common ground. Okay, so I'll come in now. Okay, so very well, the way both of y'all went on, and it was really nice because y'all stuck so cleverly to your objective, and this was really nice the way y'all stuck to your objective. Okay, now here you gave her the option. Watanbe gave Peter the option, saying that yes, 2 projects at a time and gradually. Now you cannot just say gradually. When you're talking about gradually, probably you need to say that, we can try it out for 3 months, and then next 3 months you can just take 1 project at a time and let us keep that for 1 month, and then let's see how it goes. Now this becomes realistic. Now when you're saying let's just see how it goes and stuff, you also want to see whether you are getting that amount of productivity from Peter, and whether your projects are also being closed, whether Peter's productivity is also fine. So basically you need to be open. You need to stick to your main goals and your main objectives. Now your main goals and your main objective is that yes, you want a good productivity, and simultaneously you want him to prioritize the most important projects, correct? And you do not want him to go ahead and work on 2 to 3 different projects, because that's just not your style of working. So understanding, yes, your style, understanding his style, the research that you all have come up with and all of that, the way you all went on was nice. But yes, also saying that gradually, in the sense, for now, for the next 2 months, let's just say, Peter, you for the next 2 months, you can just work on 2 projects at a time rather than working with 3 projects, and not just telling him this, but also going ahead and explaining that yes, the cultural differences, and it becomes really difficult, for the others to adapt to a new cultural difference and kind of your working style, because the team members, you'll not be working alone, but of course you'll be working with different team members and stuff, right? So here, if you see in the it's mentioned here in the case study also that yes, he's going to be working with his other team members. Now again, here in Tokyo also he will be requiring other team members, and it becomes really difficult for team members to adapt to a new cultural to a new working style. And just for one person, you'll have to go ahead and make the whole team work according to him, which is going to be a challenge. So you need to give out all these points, correct? So you need to focus on what your points are, explain it to him. Now what he's going to do, he's going to look into these points and he's going to analyze, and he's going to come forward with his alternatives. Now after giving out these alternatives and explaining, so you can say just maybe 2 months, you can go ahead with 2 projects at a time, and then the third month, the following month, what you can do is just try to stick on one project. I can leverage if you want more breaks, that is okay with me, but my main priority is I want you to focus on one project at a time. So rather than, taking 2 to 3 different projects as a refresher, what you can do is it's okay to take few breaks in that particular month and try to, get back on track, because understanding that your culture is very different from our culture. So it cannot happen overnight. Probably over 6 months is what we hope to completely see you gelling into the Japanese culture. Right, so this could be one. And from Peter's point of view, what Peter could do is, Peter could say that, yeah, multitasking is very essential. And if you are, now here is the bargaining chips that's coming in. Now his problem, Batanbe's problem is, yes, Peter is working not just alone, but he also requires other team members to collaborate with him. And the team members are not comfortable on, to work as per his working style, that is jumping from one project to another. So now Peter knows that, yes, these are his problems. Now, what are my bargaining chips? So he can punch in saying that, yes, so he can pitch and say, yes, I would do a training for my team members, wherein I would make them to go ahead and be really good in multitasking, and what are the different tips and tricks that I have used in my career, that I've used in out of my own experience. I would love to go ahead and deliver training specifically to my team members. And if, let's not say 3 to 4 at a time, so gradually how we can work on 2 projects simultaneously, and I would personally go ahead and design an entire module and train them on, right? So when you are focusing on the what do you say, when you are focusing on the other part, 1 second, I've got a chat. Okay, yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so when you are focusing on the other parties' problems, and when you are coming up with solutions to solve their problem, yet sticking on the goals and objectives, that is what makes a whole negotiation to go on really smoothly, wherein both sides are going to have like a win-win situation. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so understanding this, which is why you also need to come up with questions like your whys. And so when you ask questions like why, the main important question, especially in your negotiation, would be like why. So if you know why, it becomes easier for you to go ahead and plan out alternatives, for you to go ahead and plan solutions and offer them the solutions that you have. And then if both parties agree upon, then yes, there's no more scope for any conflict to arise. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, so what would be your negotiation style over here? I think, Janice, you're aware of the win-win and the win-lose and the lose-lose and the lose-win and stuff, right? I don't think Ankita was there. Okay, so what would be your negotiation style from what we've discussed and from the solution that we have come up with? What style of a negotiation do you think this fits into?
Are you talking about like only Peter or?
No, Peter and Watanbe. From the solutions
So
that we came,
okay, combined.
Combined, yeah. The outcome,
Okay.
basically. Okay, with regards to the solutions that I've given from Peter's point of view and from Watanbe's point of view, from your point of view, from Ankita's point of view. So cumulatively, we have come to a common ground, right?
Yeah.
Is it collaborative?
Okay, so collaborative is what?
So
In assertiveness and cooperativeness.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Collaborative is high in assertiveness and cooperativeness.
Okay, so is it collaborative?
I thought it was collaborative because both of them
So is it a
came.
win-win situation, collaborative?
Yeah.
Mm,
No, yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, correct. So it would be collaborative. So what did you say, Janice? It's high in assertiveness and
Cooperativeness.
so do you think it's high in assertiveness and cooperativeness here? From what the solutions I've given from both the point of views, both of them, their point of views, and also what you and Ankita were trying to come up with?
Yes, ma'am, because like
Yeah.
they both stuck to the objectives, but they were also cooperating with each
Correct.
other.
Yes, exactly. Correct. So this is more of a collaborative wherein you all are sticking high in assertiveness and also sticking to the main, what do you say, being collaborative, cooperative. 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Now, if we have to discuss about the bhatnas, okay, what would be the, I want you, Peter, to think of the bhatnas, and I want Vatanbe for you to think of the bhatnas. 3 alternative, not 3, okay, maybe just stick to 2. What is your bhatna? Basically, the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Peter, from your point of view, and Vatanbe, from your point of view. 2 bhatnas. Are you all thinking?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool. Have you all come up with something? Ankita?
I don't know what would be Vatanbe's alternative.
So you need to kind of think of 2 alternatives. You had already given one alternative while we were, while you all were negotiating actually.
Yeah, but I thought we can't let him go.
Yeah. Thought of any alternative? Janice?
Yeah, I did, but I'm not sure if they are like the
Strong
good
enough.
ones. Okay, can he like, okay, so if this deal doesn't, like if the negotiation doesn't go well, then he could like keeping in mind that he is one of the most productive employees and stuff, so he could go back to the US. Like I'm not
Okay,
sure
fine.
this is a good one or not, but basically the old company where he basically got the freedom that he needed to work with his working style. Or if not that, then if
Okay, so that's a good
he could
bhatna. One is
basically like apply for
apply for.
basically in Japan itself, in Tokyo, he could apply for to other companies, but keeping his working style as a non-negotiable. So if the company
Instead
like
of other
knows about
companies,
his working style from the beginning and it's non-negotiable.
no, see,
Yes, ma'am.
going back to the US is one good bhatna. Okay. The second bhatna, instead of looking
Yes,
for a
ma'am.
job outside his company, that would really not be a bhatna, because you should also see the challenges that are there. Like, okay, my God, I'm here in Tokyo. And then, first of all, I'm already having so many tips in my organization because of XYZ. They are not liking my working style. So going again, see, an unknown person, wait, what's that saying? A known devil is better than an unknown friend. Correct. So a known devil is better than an unknown friend. So Vatanbe is much, I know Vatanbe and it's already so difficult. Imagine if I have to go to a new company, imagine the number of challenges. So that is not a good bhatna. Instead, what you can do is in the same organization, maybe he can look to switch his team. and also put forward, like, when he's switching his team, to already inform his manager that yes, this is my working style and this is how I like to work, and this and that, and also everything in detail, and then go ahead and apply for a internal job posting.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
that
right.
sounds
So, so what you came up with is good, but instead of going out, the only thing you had to say is that yes, within the organization itself,
within the
switch
company.
over. Okay, perfect. Nice ones, Janice. Yeah. So, Vatanbe, what about you?
Oh, can Vatanbe cut his salary maybe?
No.
Then I don't
It
know.
has to stick to. Okay, Janice, can you think of Vatanbe's Bhatnas? Two.
He could, like, basically what you said, he could himself try to get Peter transferred to another team, so that
Perfect,
someone
perfect,
who
perfect.
who he can work well with is in his team, and then there won't be any problem.
Okay, awesome. Lovely. Okay, so you got it, Ankita. So the Bhatna would be that yes, if he's not agreed to work the way I want him to work, and I cannot be supervising a person who does not wish to go ahead and work in my way, right? So my Bhatna would be to let him go off my team and maybe switch over to another team who's willing to adapt with him. Okay, so this is Vatanbe's alternative also. Okay, then another one, can you think of, Janice?
One minute. No, ma'am, I can't think of anything else.
Okay, yeah, I think this is good enough. One is only very strong. If he's not agreeing, let him just go to another team. But then so do you think you'll need to plan your Bhatnas before sitting down to negotiate?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, correct. Would it have changed the way you all negotiated had you all had your Bhatnas in mind earlier?
Yes, ma'am. I think it would change.
It would
Like,
change. Okay.
if
But
yeah.
the main focus should be to be collaborative. Yes, I'm not just because I may come across, and if I go back to the US, what happens for Peter? People may, once he goes back also to the US, people may, what do you say, not really appreciate because he's coming out as a loser. He went there to take on these challenges and he didn't really succeed in what he wanted to go ahead with. Probably because he just didn't adapt with the people there, because he just couldn't go ahead. And so that would be, this is his Bhatna, but it would not be a very strong Bhatna for him to rely on. Correct. So even though this is his only Bhatna, every time you have your Bhatnas, but your Bhatnas may not be as strong as the outcome. The Bhatnas would be, if you have a strong Bhatna, then you don't mind, letting go and you losing in this negotiation. But he would say that, yes, this is my alternative, but of course that would be secondary for me returning to US. But my main focus would be to somehow stick here for 2 years and let me see how I can convince them and how I can get convinced with the offers that they are putting forward to, and so on. Okay, so what is the other one? Switching over to another team. This Bhatna is stronger than going back to the US, but still it is not as strong as sticking in the same team and convincing Vatanbe. Correct. So although these two are really good bhatnas, best bhatnas that I could come up with, my current scenario and the solution, I mean this current scenario, but yes, my main focus would still be to go ahead and what do you say, to go ahead and convince and get convinced and come out successfully out of this negotiation. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, perfect. Right. So, okay, let us just reiterate some few points, maybe in the next. Okay, by the way, Ankita, would you be present for the next session?
Tomorrow.
No, it's not tomorrow, by the way. It's postponed for like a few days. So, Janice, you have a few more days to go ahead and plan up and put up your presentation together. Okay, so when are you guys free? Next.
We have, ma'am, we have to make individual presentations, right?
Yes, individual presentations. Okay.
Ma'am.
And I think Amana is also, she had some few doubts. I think she was putting up her PPT together. She had messaged me. So I think, I don't just communicate with her and ask her if she would be coming in next session. And next session, if she's coming in, she has to come up with her PPT. Okay. Okay, so when are you guys free this week? Are you all free this week?
I'm not, ma'am. We have our exam on Saturday, right, Janice? Eco?
Yes. Actually, ma'am, this is our exam week. So we have assignment submissions and tests the whole week.
Oh, okay. So how about Sunday? You'll just have to do like a 10-minute presentation. That's it.
Sunday, like 21st?
Yeah, this whole week y'all are busy, right?
And ma'am, on the 22nd also I have a test. That's the last test.
So then 27th, I don't know.
Oh my God, 27th is like so long time. You'll just have to, can't you squeeze little time to come up with a PPT? Just like 10 slides or something?
Can we do it on Monday only then? Is that possible? Because then like, yeah.
Okay, that I'll have to check with the internal. I'll have to check with the organizers. Oh, okay. So after Monday, like Wednesday or something?
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Wednesday would be fine.
Yes, ma'am.
And for you, Ankita?
Wednesday or Thursday, if it's possible. Thursday would be better, I think.
What about you, Janice? Is Thursday fine for you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So we'll meet on Thursday. And Janice, I've sent you the rad pack model, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please forward it to Ankita?
Yes, ma'am. I'll do that.
Okay. And can you just reiterate us with regards to what your PPT should be about? I'll just open it up, mine, and let me just, are you aware of what you're supposed to be doing, Janice?
Yes, ma'am.
Kind of. Okay,
I have it written down somewhere. Yeah, so basically we have to come up
I'll just open it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just send it on the chat also. So Ankita, just for you over here. Okay, so I'll just give you like a quick brush up with regards to this. So this is the rad pack model. It's an acronym for rapport, analysis, debate, propose, agreement, and close. Okay, so basically you can say these are the different stages listed in to go ahead with a negotiation. Like even if you have to think about a scenario of today, the first would be, as per this model, the first was rapport building, then analyzing the whole situation, analyzing your party, the other party, what are they bringing in, the bargaining chips and stuff, then sitting down to debate. Then after you debate, you go ahead and give them your proposals, then you'll agree and come to a common ground, and then you'll close the deal. So this is the RADPAC model step-by-step plan. So what I had given an assignment was for you all to come up with your own model. And so whatever model you come up with, so it would be like Janice's model to succeed in the negotiation, to succeed in a negotiation, right? Or it would be Ankita's model to negotiate and succeed. So I want you all to come up with your own model and not necessarily stick with this. I want you to come up with your own model, and what would be the first step? Now the first step, I'll just give you a gist of it, right? Now the first step, instead of rapport building, the first and foremost step would be goal identification, correct? And after you identify your goal, it would be planning, it would be analyzing, and it would be research. And I also don't want you to just give me like goal and second point, third point. I want you to give me a brief description into goal. What are you going to go ahead and discuss? Like how you have here, step-by-step plan, like once rapport, there is a little bit of description about it, right? Then under analysis, there are certain bullet points. Now, even if you want to incorporate analysis or planning and pre-planning, what are the points that you would come up with, right? So basically, this is your plan. If you want to sit and lead the negotiation to your team, correct? What is it that you have to sit down and tell them that, yes, now I want you to analyze. So in this analysis phase, what are you going to focus on, and what are you going to take them through? So basically, if I'm going to be a part of your negotiation, and if you're taking me through your model, you need to tell me, what do I have to do in this analysis phase? Because it's completely new for me. Yes, now you tell me first is goal identification. So I'll write it down and I will say, oh, okay, as per my boss, as per my negotiator, she says that goal identification is the first step. So what do? I identify my goals, correct. Now in the second step, it could be planning, it could be analysis, up to you, however you want to go ahead and plan it up. You all can take in few points from here, whether agreement, proposed debate, or whatever, but ultimately it has to be your own unique model. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, it should be around 10 slides.
A few slides, even if it's, yeah, up to how many points do you think?
So there's no limit, basically, just how much it takes to cover up our model.
Yeah. I'm not going to put any rules or restrictions or regulations, because ultimately it's your own model, and whatever we've discussed, maybe now you need to just wrap it up and put it in those slides.
Okay, ma'am.
Cool. So yes, so this is it, and yeah, now you guys have really raised the bar. Janice, you have also been like a constant. So of course my expectations are high.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, so on Thursday we will have to present and basically speak like out. So
yeah,
basically present the model.
Anyways, we're all comfortable with each other. It's just going to be 3 or 4 of us any which ways, right?
Yes,
so what you need to do is you need to be all of us are your team members, okay? And of course, whatever you are bringing to the table, you need to be sure that yes, you are the main negotiator, and whatever you're bringing to the table, of course it would be right, because it's your own model. No one can question you with regards to that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you are the main negotiator, keeping in mind, we all the other listeners are your team members. You'll have to run us through in order for us to stick to your plan and your model and go into and go down to negotiate or whatever negotiation that we have. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So Ankita, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
I think it's pretty clear, right? So if in case you have any doubts, you can reach out to me personally on my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, if you have any small doubts, you can also ask Janice. So I'll just put off my number again if in case you all have any doubts. Okay, and I'll just give you feedback after your presentation. I will give you my feedback, and also if there are any areas for improvement and stuff, I'll just suggest to you all. Cool?
Ma'am, should we choose one particular scenario and make a model for that
Or let it
scenario?
just be in general.
General, okay.
In general, okay. So if you stick to one particular model, then what happens? It becomes a little streamlined. It becomes like very specific. So what you do is, let's just have Ankita's model to succeed in negotiation, or Ankita's model. How do we put it? What would be the best title? Ankita's art of negotiation model. Janice's art of negotiation model, right? So let us just put it up there like that, and then let it be generic. So if there is any negotiation that I need to go ahead with, let me quickly pick up Ankita's or Janice's and then go ahead with skimming through, and then yes, a refresher, and then I can negotiate well that way. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I've sent you this on the chat. So let this be like a base for you to just get an understanding. But like I told you, as per you, rapport may not be the very first step. Something else would be, like I gave you an example, goal identification would be the first step. So likewise, your second and third, however you want to go ahead and put it up. It would be like that. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
So Thursday, what time are you guys free to meet? Same time, 5?
Yes, ma'am. I'm fine with 5 o'clock.
What about you, Ankita? Is 5 fine?
Yeah, okay.
Or how about Friday? Friday, are you all free?
On Saturday, we have our exam, so we might be preparing for that on Friday.
Then can't you make it on Wednesday then? Because I just realized on Thursday, I have some other sessions for creative writing and stuff.
I am fine with
Friday,
Wednesday.
yeah, Friday. Does Friday work for you, Janice?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so I think it's fine, yeah.
So when Friday is it? We'll meet?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll meet on Friday.
At 5 o'clock?
Maybe we can keep it at 5:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, we'll keep it at 5. By the time you all come in and stuff, it'll be 5:30. I know. So yeah, 5 o'clock. Just inform Amana also, no?
I don't have her number.
Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just send in a message on the group.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So thank you so much. See you guys on Friday at 5.
See you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
We'll
Bye.
start at 5. If you all wrap up and we finish up early and stuff, we'll leave at 6:30 like that. If we have a few more questions, and you know for sure that 3 people are going to be presenting, and all 3 of us, all 3 people are going to be presenting, and the rest of us would be good listeners and giving feedback. So I think 5 to 7 would be ideal. Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. See you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.